What if I told you that these strange fogs that are happening around the world, the weather anomalies, and unidentified drones aren't just natural occurrences and random sightings? What if they are actually a part of a global agenda that is being hidden in plain sight and disguised as climate action and being rolled out in front of our very eyes? Today, we're going to talk about the mysterious fog phenomenon, weather control programs like the Air Force's Weather as a Force Multiplier goal of 2025. We're going to talk about the connection to black budget operations, advanced nanotechnology, and how these programs impact all of us, humanity as a whole. So, more importantly, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you actionable steps to reclaim your body, your mind, and your reality. So let's break it wide open. All right, so look, there's a lot going on around the planet, right? With all this mysterious fog we just had on top of multiple planes not being able to put their landing gear down. It's strange. There's a lot of strange stuff that's happening. This fog seems to be abnormal. So I'm going to play a video here. These are just clips that I've kind of gone over, and I think they'll kind of speak for themselves. So check this out.
Fog has started to show up all across the country, and people are very worried. Ever since the Dior bag stopped showing up in the sky, people have started to see fog at their house all across the country. Literally from all corners of America, people are walking outside their house seeing fog like this, but saying that it has oddly big particles in it. Florida, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, California, and Texas, and basically all over the country, people are reporting the same thick
that
particle
looks like a fog
fog.
machine.
Some
right
people
there,
are saying that it's making them feel sick.
That's crazy.
Smells like chemicals and is not normal. And what are the odds that it's the exact same looking stuff everywhere? This is a video somebody took yesterday morning in Florida at 6:30, and this is not snow. They don't know what this is. This person said this fog is everywhere, and it's not just fog. It's like someone spraying something weird. My throat's been killing me since it rolled in. Anyone else notice this chemical smell? It's not natural. Feels like we're in a sci-fi movie where the air is not safe anymore. No one has been able to say exactly what this fog is or why people are able to see it all across the country, but I want you guys to let me know, have you seen this fog?
So it's not just happening across the United States. It's also happening in the UK. It's happening everywhere. So this isn't just like a localized thing. It's crazy. And now we're going to talk about the historical parallels of fog weapons. You heard me right. Fog weapons. It's crazy. And all of this stuff is crazy. But what's even crazier is that these things are really what's happening. These are the real things that our government has been working on. And this is real stuff. It's just really interesting because it's becoming declassified, and people are becoming curious enough to go looking for this type of information. The only reason why this information is coming up, and look, I want to give a little disclaimer here. I'm not about fear mongering. I know a lot of this stuff is scary and it's fearful, and in many ways, that's what's keeping your attention, right? That's what this does. This is what this all fear does, is it keeps your attention. But I want you to realize that I do this not through fear, but I do this through awareness. Fear, I believe, in many ways, is a plague. Fear is good for when we need to, fight or flight, save our lives, right? If a tree's falling, we got to get out of the way, So that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the propagating fear through whatever sources are in front of you. So it's everywhere. And I'm just letting you know that that's not my goal here. My goal is to inform you of the things that are out there, the real stuff. And something that is real is the Air Force's 1996 report, quoted as weather as a force multiplier, owning the weather in 2025. The goals outlined, and I'm going to put below the link. You can read this for yourself. It's declassified, and it's direct from a government website. So, I'm going to play a video for you here too, so I'll give you a little brief on it. But the goals that are outlined in this whole thing is the manipulating precipitation, fog, and even hurricanes. If we can control the weather, that makes sense, right? Because let's say there's going to be a huge storm or something, and we want to detour that. So far, it doesn't seem like if there is weather modification to help us, it's not doing a very good job. It seems to only hinder us, especially with the crazy snowstorms that are looking to bombard down south, right? And I was saying that a while ago. I don't know if I mentioned it on here, but I've been feeling, I'm saying, watch the Bible Belt down south. Watch all those states and how they're going to get nailed. Anyway, just so you don't hear me giving a bunch of nonsense, I'm going to play a video from a creator that I think is wonderful. I will put her information below. It's Ariana Masters. If you haven't seen her, check her out. She's great.
Unusual lingering fog align eerily with a 1996 U.S. Air Force plan to control including fog as a military strategy by the year, get this, 2025. The document titled As a Force Multiplier, Owning in 2025, outlines cutting-edge technologies to manipulate phenomena for battlefield advantage, with fog manipulation taking center stage. The report highlights methods to dissipate fog and also create it. Lasers and microwave systems. Okay, that's it. Where's my hat? Lasers and microwave systems have demonstrated the ability to clear fog in seconds. Beyond dissipation, the report explores creating artificial fog. Field tests proved artificial fog's effectiveness in blocking ultraviolet, infrared, and general sunlight over large areas. The Air Force's vision extends to manipulation and artificial creation using nanotechnology and...
All right, there we go. So this isn't just like make-believe, right? It's out there. And there's also have been cloud seeding projects that have been going on for decades. Literally, geoengineering is happening. And I want to show you some of these other interesting videos that will kind of give you an insight of what weather manipulation looks like. I'm not a radar scientist, and people say that the things that you're looking at on these radars, on these radar screens, in these readings, isn't weather manipulation. But I mean, you take it for what you see it, and I don't know. You can make your own conclusions, but this is interesting.
This is called anomalous propagation. Weather radar do not alter the weather. The average power cycle of any given location in the sky is minimal. Instead, what we're seeing is moisture being picked up in the upper parts of the atmosphere. Hence, why the dry west coast never glows like the east does. The synchronous glow is due to the sun rising and setting. This is called sunlight interference or nightly bloom. Sunlight interferes with microwave signals, so ground clutter around the radar appears brighter at night and more dim during the day. Stack a temperature inversion on top of these effects, and now radar signals are reflected downward and return external ground signals instead.
So I hope you realize that this video, this is the official explanation of what you're seeing on here. So, but just here, check it out.
Millions of local devices transmitting on similar frequencies are being picked up. Due to the radar's rotating nature, the interference pattern appears to spin. Everything on screen can be broken down logically. The cutouts you see here are due to being blockage, whether from mountains, buildings, trees, etc. Objects can block radar transmissions from being picked up. Why isn't the tip of Florida glowing like the rest of the radars? Well, clouds are covering the radar, and it's the same case for the upper East Coast.
Wild.
For example, a strong temperature inversion may cause the outgoing radar signal to bend downward so it strikes the ground. Such ground clutter differs from precipitation echoes because it is stationary, stronger, and grainier in appearance. Often, these anomalous propagation patterns appear just prior to sunrise when a strong low-level temperature inversion is present.
All right, so there's more or less the explanation of that. I don't know. I watch those videos and I love looking at radar stuff and Doppler and all those things. And I don't know. I don't know. I just find it interesting. these crazy things, these beams of like lasers coming out. I don't know. I guess we have to take the official narrative on that, right? So, why would the government want to change the weather? All right. Now I want to show you something else too. Watch this. Okay. So there's all these official explanations, right? And now let's explain. Oh, hold on. Let me get this on here. This is from a newsreel in California. Man. Listen to what he says.
Telling you for the past 2 weeks now, they're doing military exercises out there, and although it looks like rain, it's not. Showers here are...
Watch that again. Oh, hold on. Well, check this out.
It's not rain, as we've been telling you for the past 2 weeks now. They're doing military exercises out there, and although it looks like rain, it's not. Showers here are legitimate.
So there you go. There's obviously strange anomalies that are happening. Being caught on radar, this strange fog, talking about this military program. I mean, that's nuts. And then they've been doing weather manipulation for quite some time. All right. Cloud seeding is nothing new. Check it out.
Seeding system in the world is found in China. China creates 55 billion tons of artificial rain a year. Other countries are also looking to ramp up cloud seeding efforts
Remember
in the
Dubai?
hope of increasing precipitation. Thailand has an ambitious aim to remove water
Dubai
shortages
went
in
underwater. That was from
98%
cloud
of
seeding.
the country's drought-affected areas by 2037. The idea behind cloud seeding is to create rain in regions that are most affected by droughts, thus reducing the impact of droughts. In 2015, cloud seeding increased the local rainfall in Texas by about 34%. The technology can also be used to manage
That was 10
hail.
years ago.
According to an estimate, hailstorms in the U.S. cause an average of $15 billion in damage to homes, cars, and crops each year. Cloud seeding increases the number of ice pellets in hail-producing clouds, but decreases the size of each pellet. This can reduce the damage caused by hail. Cloud seeding can also clear away fog by turning it into precipitation, improving visibility around airports. But there is a catch. For cloud seeding to work, specific atmospheric conditions must exist. Cloud seeding can't create clouds. It can only add particles to clouds which interact with the water vapor already present in the air. Also, cloud seeding does not always go as planned. In 2009, China performed cloud seeding in an attempt to end a drought, resulting in a temperature drop and a snowstorm that closed roads.
You think they
around
told
Beijing.
everybody?
There are also
You remember that?
concerns
No.
about unwanted ecological changes. Rain in one area might bring drought to another, which could lead to ecological imbalances. After all, water that falls from the sky must go somewhere. If that extra precipitation falls in a place where it cannot be absorbed into the ground, then it could trigger flooding. Today, water shortages and floods affect every continent. Around 1.2 billion people.
All right. Anyway, there you go. They have been cloud seeding and creating rainstorms for a long time. It's nothing new. And if you don't believe it, well, go do your own research. I'll put the links of everything that I have below in this episode. But the point of all this is so you can start to wrap your head around, okay, well, all this mysterious fog, what could it be from? These mysterious drones, what could they be? Or who could be operating them? All right. Okay, and now we're going to kind of go off the rails a little bit because this is where it starts to get really kind of nuts, okay? We have invented nanoparticles, all right? I say we as in the human race. We've invented nanoparticles that can be dispersed through aerosols in the sky. That's nothing new either. And if you don't believe me, well, check this little piece of history out.
Square inch of every city will be alive with intelligence. Because every street and every building will have a network of microcomputers built right into them. Dr. Chris Piester calls it smart dust.
A smart dust
This isn't a new
particle
video.
or mote is a wireless sensor with sensing, computation, communication, and power in one package.
These all-in-one microcomputers will be small, very small.
The size of a mote today is about the size of a grain of rice. And we've shown that we can make the circuitry small enough and light enough that eventually it will be possible to make things that are on a sub-millimeter size scale.
All right, check this out.
Tiny specks of
nuts.
computer smart dust will form a vast invisible network that can help manage the infrastructure of even the largest city.
Smart cities in the future will take this low power, inexpensive,
Smart city, you hear
small
that?
technology and basically distribute it everywhere.
But smart dust will also allow buildings and streets to recognize you and respond accordingly.
I think increasingly the environment will respond to who we are and adapt in consequence.
The city will know where you are if you want it to.
Your workplace will know you. Smart dust at the entrance will boot up your computer. And smart dust embedded in the elevator doors will automatically ring your floor.
In sensor
But in the future, every square inch of
All right.
every
So smart dust is real. I'm not exactly sure when that video was produced, but it was probably at least 15 years ago. It's not new, you know, because they have the nanotechnology. They've already invented, and this stuff is being used apparently, okay, to monitor air and water pollution. Of course, because they spray this stuff in the atmosphere and modify the weather and do all those things for our well-being. That's the whole point. So to save us from bad weather and save us from ourselves and to make sure the air isn't polluted or the water is not polluted enough. I don't know. It's hard to buy it. Some of the other things that's interesting about this smart dust. And this smart dust apparently is made out of graphene oxide. So the graphene oxide is electromagnetic. You can send it information and receive information. So that's what they're talking about. This graphene oxide smart dust that when you breathe it in, it goes into your lungs and it's so small that it can break the blood-brain barrier. This is not science fiction. This is the real deal. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. Oh my God, what if all of a sudden they're spraying all this fog and it's smart dust and these robot zombies? I don't know. I still feel okay. But I don't live in a city. And I haven't been breathing in any of this dust. And I haven't experienced what other people have been experiencing. If you've experienced this, let me know, you know. Give me a comment. Let me know. Where are you in the world? If you're seeing this, have you experienced weird fog and are you feeling okay? You know, I think that it's important to realize that there are certainly steps to being able to protect yourself. Have good air filters and good water filters in your home. These are important things, right? This is still going down this nanobot rabbit hole. I believe it's important. I believe that the stuff that's being created, it's kind of scary. And so I think it's important to know what it is, so we're not scared of it, right? It can be scary, and then that creates this fear of like, oh my God, what could it be? Well, if you know what it is, right, and you know how it's affecting humanity in your area and what it could do to you, well, why can't you take that information and go, okay, well, I'm okay. It's okay to be prepared, right? It's one thing to live in a bunker a mile below the earth and think the world's going to end. Well, I mean, if you ever get to that moment, well, then go ahead and do that. You know, some people, I want to remind you, on this earth, not so long ago, their world has completely ended, like genocide, and whole areas completely demolished. That is Armageddon for them. And it's a horrible, sad thing when that happens. But the important is to know that these things, they happen in all shapes, forms, and sizes. Okay? Check this out.
Where microscopic computers basically can infest a human. It can take over their thoughts and all muscle function. Basically, you would be able to be controlled by these parasitic devices. The technology has already been developed, it's already been tested. I personally was involved in several experiments through the use of nanotechnology, and the results were terrifying. Notice the nanobot technology.
All right, don't need to really go into that much further. I mean, that speaks for itself. I think that there are sinister projects out there, and I think that people that become involved within these projects realize, you know, what the agenda is behind the whole thing, and then they end up coming forward and they bring this information. So it's okay if you want to stick your head in the sand and ignore it and say, oh, this is nonsense. Why would any government or academic institution make things like this to instill on society and people? Well, I think it's obvious. This is again, none of this stuff is new, right? This isn't like old way of thinking. It's just that the technology now is getting to the point to where it's really opening up a whole new dimension and a whole new reality of what's possible. And we're going to go down, we're going to keep going down this rabbit hole a little bit. I think it's important to realize, it's important to know information is empowering. Check this out.
So I have questions that have to be part of an urgently needed public discussion and outcry. When is this going to stop? Obviously, you don't know, and I would urge you, they're outside. There's a list of websites that you can go to, not just to Clifford Carnicom's, but this is the most, his website is the most well-documented one with lots of medical information. I've talked to over 100 doctors just in this past 6 months, naturopaths, MDs, all sorts of people in healthcare, and there we have staggering rates of upper respiratory and cardiovascular problems that we never used to have. There's a brand new emerging field, and that's called environmental cardiology, and they're not even dealing with the issues of weather modifications and chemtrails. I'd like to know, how are the real drought conditions by nature exacerbated by a constant spew of aerosols in the chemtrails? How much of global warming or climate change is actually caused by billions of tons of these aerosols that have been sprayed over us for the last 8 years without our permission? It's not just CO2
This is not a
emissions that
new
we have
video
to deal
either,
with,
by the way.
but we have to deal with weather modification. How is weather modification by the military destabilizing our planet's natural plants?
All right, I better be careful. I don't want to show too much because I don't want to get banned myself here. This type of stuff is not like, you know, the powers that be don't want people seeing this kind of stuff. So if it gets too close to the truth, Well, this video you're seeing right here could easily be taken down. So I got to be careful about what I say and how I present it. I'm not trying to claim anything here. I'm just presenting some videos. I don't know if you noticed, but that video was from the Massachusetts School of Law. That woman doesn't look like she's some conspiracy theorist out there. You know, you never know. Okay, you never know. Just saying. It's important to kind of open your mind of all this stuff, because not so long ago, if you talked about any of these subjects, you were a tinfoil hat wearing moron, right? A conspiracy theorist, a nutcase. And now, with the exposure of all this stuff through AI has helped that dramatically and is creating like this whole new awakening of knowledge. It's changing how we think, feel, and react, because we work as a collective. We're all one, I believe. We are all one way or the other. If this is a simulation, right, just like a video game, it's all packed into that little package. And everything in that package is all one. It's all part of that game, the simulation. So in reference to that, I believe that we're all one here. So, it's either way. Okay, don't want to go too far off. Let's keep going down this rabbit hole. If you've ever looked up at the sky, I've seen plenty of trails made from planes in the sky. Okay, I know what condensation trails are, contrails, and then there are chemtrails, right? We just saw this woman talking about it. So when you look up in the sky and you see these trails being left by planes, and some days they're there and they're not there for very long and they dissipate, and that seems normal. It's condensation, right? But when they're left there, and then next thing you know, they blanket the entire sky, and a clear blue sky day turns into a cloudy day because of the planes flying over. I don't know, maybe there's just lots of planes and the humidity's changed, and that's why it's like that. I don't buy it. Okay, now check this out. Here's a guy who wrote a book about weather modification and geoengineering, right? And this is all in the name of climate change, right? Because the earth is heating up and we have to stop it. So we have to spray more stuff into the atmosphere to block the sun so we don't heat up and everything dries up. I don't buy that either. Okay, but the science, well, there's science for lots of things. And if you want to create a narrative, you can create whatever you want. And of course, this is on everybody's favorite, Stephen Colbert, who I used to enjoy until, after 2020, and I really started to see how things were working. It started to awaken to the reality of the agendas. Check it out.
It is that you could actually spray sulfuric acid in the stratosphere 20 kilometers over our head and use that to stop the planet warming up, and spray pollution into the atmosphere to stop it warming.
Now we have another little clip I want you to see. Check this out.
The paths at the top believe they'll create a satanic order that will rule the world. At a high level of the U.S. government, there was support of this kind of thing with Operation Bluebird, Paperclip, Mockingbird, and of course, MK Ultra, still going on today.
All right, I only play that just to show that there are lots of operations that are happening. This was just a small clip. And so if there is some sort of like secret operation that's happening, well, don't be so far-fetched to think that maybe something could be happening. I don't know. Hopefully some strings are starting to tie together. I'm obviously tying some strings together. I don't know what you think, but I want you to check this out now. Look at this.
Now, in the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough, and nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. Data might.
We don't even need to see any more than that. All right. So you have conferences and they're talking about this stuff openly and freely. Nanodust, electromagnetic dust that we inhale can break the brain blood barrier, control our thoughts, control us. Crazy. Absolutely nuts. Look, at the end of the day, right, we have all this stuff that's happening. And and the only reason why I mentioned the drones and all these things earlier is the fact that this all could be a part of all the same thing. These drones that are flying over, if our government wasn't doing something that was secretive, well, don't you think they would let us know what is happening? Some say, oh, well, this is a foreign threat. Maybe it's China because they're the only ones that could have this technology along with us. We don't want to throw anybody into panic. If they don't want to throw us into panic, so I guess maybe we should just not pay attention. I can understand, right? You want people to go to work. Society has to function. People need to get their coffee and their donuts and their things, and they want to go shopping in their stores. So if all of a sudden there's panic among society, all those things are going to start to shut down because people aren't going to want to go to work. They're going to be like, hell no, we're under attack, man. I'm going to go home and prepare. It's panic. No, you don't want to panic, but you do want to be prepared, don't you? Don't you want to know what's going on? Don't you want to understand what this mysterious fog is if you're experiencing it? Don't you want to know the things that possibly could be getting sprayed into the air? They're not explaining any of this fog stuff. Everyone's just really crazy, right? Coming to all these conclusions about what's happening, and we're just all nuts, right? We're all crazy, tinfoil hat wearing nutsos. I think what's happening here is that we're putting together these conclusions, or at least we're tying these strings together of what's possible, but it's not far-fetched. These things are happening, and they're being explained to us if you're paying attention, right? Not everybody goes looking for this information. You have to go looking for it. They don't put it on the nightly news. And that's how many of us were brought up to think, well, if it wasn't on the news, then it's just not that important. Not that important for society to know. That's the important thing to remember, okay? So, at the end of the day, how do we protect ourselves, right? Our minds, our bodies, and our realities. There are ways to ground and get that static electricity out of your system. And there are ways of detoxing from heavy metals and potential nanotechnology, activated charcoal, Corellia, and zeolite. Focus on eating clean foods and organic foods. Super important. I think the cleaner your body is, it's going to reject this stuff. We are natural creatures of the earth. Our bodies will protect us, but we have to take care of our bodies in order for it to protect us, if that makes sense. So the more you connect with the earth and your natural vibration, natural foods, natural elements, natural actions, okay? Natural interactions. These are the things that keep us real. These are the things that are going to get us through the chaos. Then we have mental resilience. So practice mindfulness, practice meditation. These things are really not that difficult. They're really not. Let's say, for example, pet your dog or your cat. You're just in that moment, feeling that love, feeling that bond. That in itself is a way of meditation. You're quieting the mind. That's all you got to do. Awareness. Awareness is everything. Being aware of your surroundings, being aware of your internal surroundings. What's happening in here? What does it all feel like? Feel all the parts of your body. Feel the bottoms of your feet. Feel the top of your head. at the ends of your hands. Feel all the things touching your skin, what the temperature is. You know, what does the inside of your mouth taste like? What does the air smell like? What are you hearing? All these things are important because it gives you awareness and spatial awareness of your body, your mind, and your soul, and your reality. So keep that mental resilience, you know, limit your exposure to the crazy propaganda and fear-based media like right here. But it's not, I don't want you to take this stuff. It's scary stuff, sure, but don't be fearful. It's not about fear. You know, when I say fear is a plague, I say that. It was a quote from Mel Gibson's movie Apocalypto, where, you know, the main protagonist, the son of the chief, there's this moment where the chief says to his son something along the lines of, you could see the fear in their eyes and they're fearful. And then he says to his son, don't ever let fear enter your mind because fear is a plague, right? Again, I'm not talking about the kind of fear that you gotta get out of the way when you see a barreling car coming towards you. Don't be stupid. You know, these are the real fight or flight instincts that we have. It's very different from somebody telling you something and making you scared and fearful. So I'm not here to make you fearful and scared. I'm here to share the information of what's happening all around the world, to inform yourself so you can wake up a little bit, so you can see the forest through the trees. Get a clear picture of what's happening on the planet. If you don't start to get a clear picture of what's happening, then things are going to start changing around your area, and you're not going to be able to make sense of it. And you're just going to follow right in line when they say, listen, this is how they are. And I know you don't get all this. So just, this is what you have to do. And this is how you have to think, and get in line. Maybe this is what they talk about, the New World Order that's been going on for a long time. But, you know, anyway, something else you can do that I think is super important is community connection. I believe there is so many people that live in areas within the United States and you have no idea who your neighbors are, right? And you rather trust the people that you're hearing from on television or politicians or these people in these higher places. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to act, you know? And this is who you need to trust. So it's the neighbors. Your neighbors are going to be the ones that help you in times of need. So get to know your community, get to know your neighbors, right? Make a couple friends. It's important. You know, when you are able to do these things and have these practical steps to clean your air, clean your water, clean the frequencies within your home, clean your mind, all these things, creating that mental resilience, creating a community connection, you know, all those things are going to allow you to reclaim your reality, your real reality, not the reality you think is being projected in front of you, because that is not reality. That is someone else's agenda. My agenda for you here is just to spread awareness. That's what we're doing. You know, the truth is out there, but it's up to us to uncover it and take action. You know, by staying informed and vigilant and connected, we can reclaim the sanctity of our minds, our bodies, and the reality that we live in. So, but tell me what you think about all this stuff. You know, if any of this has resonated, please subscribe, comment, share. This type of stuff is important. I know there's a lot of people that have a hard time with change. That's okay. You know, we get used to what we like. We get used to our surroundings and it feels comfortable, and therefore, I don't want this ever to change. I'm gonna give you a little piece here. Everything is always changing consistently, whether you know it or not, right? No day is the same. Tomorrow will not be the same as today. That's okay. The more we reclaim our bodies, our minds, our souls, and our reality will make every moment that much more grand. And what is it all about? It's about spreading love and joy. Love and joy. And I know that the things that I've been saying this whole video, I know it doesn't seem like love and joy, but the message, the understanding all these things and this awareness is because I believe that the thing that makes us feel the most whole is love. And I'm not talking about some crazy romantic love or anything like that, but it's love. Love for ourselves, love for our sons, our daughters, our mothers, our fathers, our family, our friends, for our pets, for everything that we have been blessed with. Life is a blessing. If you wake up, you've been blessed. Right? I'm not being religious here, just blessed in the sense that, feel lucky that you made it to today. Every day's an adventure. Every day's a journey. That's why it's important to break reality wide open. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love you all. Stay real, my friends.